Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Mark Richt Show, presented by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki, alongside former University of Miami center and team captain Don Bailey Jr. and the coach Mark Richt joins us momentarily. But DBJ, the Hurricanes make it 2 in a row in November with a good win against Virginia.
They did, Joe, and also got bowl eligible. Got the hex off of us for being up there at Virginia. We hadn't won a football game there since 2008, and I was so impressed with Miami's offensive line, starting the new left tackle, the new left guard, the new center. They have 222 yards rushing, 228 yards through the air, almost perfect balance, and what a great day for the defense as well.
Defense tossed a shutout in the second half and held Virginia to 2 for 7 on third down conversions in the second half.
They did, Joe, and the thing that's amazing to me is they keep hitting their average on their tackles for loss. 9 tackles for loss against Virginia. Very tough to do with a big, strong offensive line, and the way that they play offense, it's even more impressive. But Manny Diaz also had the defense in position for, Miami got credit for 4 takeaways, and it's a great stat. You know, if that happens this coming week, you've got your chances are really going to be on your side anytime you can take away 3 or 4 times.
All right, this Saturday, Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia was the venue. Let's take a look at the highlights brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine. We'll get you back in the game. Benkert gives it away. Mizell, left side. He will go into the end zone, standing up. Touchdown, Virginia. From his right side, screen pass to Walton. Walton not going to get there. Breaks one tackle, takes it back, he's to the 20. Breaks another tackle at the 15, and down to the 10-yard line. Joe Yearby to the right side. Yearby's to the 5, cuts left. Joe Yearby into the end zone, standing up for a touchdown. Looking to the end zone, steps up, rifles and caught for a touchdown. David Njoku goes up the ladder and hauls it in for a touchdown. His 5th of the year. Here's a blitz by Carter. Benkert throws, end zone diving catch, touchdown. Looking to throw. Fires deep for Stacy Coley, near side. Oh, what a catch! Miami 20, Virginia 14. Benkert's hit from the side, the ball's loose. Did Miami get it? Looking to the right side, throws. Almon Richards has it down the near sideline.
Get it!
Richards in midfield, it's a foot race. At the 40, he's at the 30. One man to be at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Almon Richards goes all the way for a Miami touchdown. Force Miami long field. Conti muffs the snap. The ball is loose. Miami has it. Turns, gives. Walton steers it up the middle to the 10, to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End zone! And that should do it. Mark Richt comes off the east sideline. Rocco Mendenhall comes off the west sideline. The University of Miami has the final word. Hurricanes 34, Virginia 14, and that's your final score. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mark Richt Show, presented by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki alongside my broadcast partner, Don Bailey Jr., and joining us now, University of Miami head coach Mark Richt. And, Coach, congratulations on a good win against Virginia.
It was good. The guys played well. First of all, it was a beautiful day to play football. And we had some pretty stout fans there, by the way. We didn't have a lot of them, but the ones that were there, they were awesome. But we appreciate them and all the family members that came. But, you know, that first play of the game was just so bizarre, really. I'd never really seen anything like that. And Brad throws a strike, and you know, Hernan's getting ready to pull the thing in and get a nice first down to start the game. And lo and behold, the guy snatches it out and takes it to the house. And for the record, I thought he was in bounds, but they ended up getting a touchdown anyway out of it. But you know, so it didn't start the way you wanted to, obviously, and but then we came right back down the field and scored. Had a 4th and short that I was crazy enough to go for, and thankfully we did a beautiful job there. And then we had a 3rd and 9 or something like that. We threw a screen out there to Walton, and there's no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, when he caught it, there's no chance.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just just gave that unbelievable effort, you know, that he's given in the past and got that first down. That might have been one of the most important plays of the game. I thought, when he got the first down on that screen, and then we ended up scoring a touchdown to tie it up. But yeah, and then from there, we pretty much controlled most of the rest of the game.
I thought the fourth down was really important because you had talked to Don, I think the week before, about wanting to be a physical team in those situations.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, this is coach. He's going to prove something to this team. That's number one. And number two, I felt like, well, if he's confident that we're going to get it right here in Miami territory, he knows something we don't know about the rest of this game.
To be honest with you, I was mad. I was just mad that we didn't get the first down on the sneak. You know, just that far away, third and less than a yard, and we get stoned. You know, we get stuffed. And I'm like, we're going for this thing, you know. And then I think we ended up. No, I think they called timeout because they were kind of thinking we were going to punt, I guess, and they weren't quite ready to defend what we were doing. And it's a good thing because we were running out of time anyway. I was about to call timeout myself, and then when you have a timeout, you know, you got that time to go, okay, calm down. Should I punt? Should I not? And I felt like we had a good shot at this play that we ran, and thankfully that was one of the better block plays of the day.
Speaking of blocking, coach, now let's go for it. Left tackle.
Right.
McDermott never started a game at left tackle before, right? Gautier never started a game anywhere before at left guard.
Right.
Gall never started at center before since he's been here. And you have a couple hundred yards rushing, 222, and looked like there was a few times that you might have got that number to 300.
Yeah, we were getting close. We were just talking about that a little while ago. Just what we left on the table still. And coaches are that way. I mean, whether you win or lose, you always think about what could have been if we'd have done it just right. And there was always some calls that, you know, I wish I'd have maybe not made and all that kind of thing. You can't be clairvoyant. You don't know for sure what defense people are in. So sometimes those things happen. And that's, you know, when you call those types of plays that don't have a chance at times, you know, that's when your quarterback's got to throw the ball out of bounds or something. Or, you know, sometimes you get in the backfield and you just got to make sure you hang on the ball. You can't, you know, we have a term in our quarterback room where you say don't turn a bad play into a catastrophe. You know, if it's a bad play, okay. Burn the ball, even take a sack, but don't get a sack and a fumble, or don't throw it up for grabs, or don't, fumble the ball in the exchange or something like that. I mean, just, you know, sometimes you got to cut your losses and punt and go to the next series.
Coach, your defense had 9 tackles for loss, had a bunch of sacks, and did a great job with the takeaway. I came up with 4 of them.
Oh,
3 of them. I mean, that just really, they really took over the game.
They did, especially in the second half. First half, you know, they converted some third downs on us and kept the chains moving a little bit. Of course, the first drive of the game after the pick was tough to start the game, you know, backed up in your territory, and we just couldn't hold them out of there. But yeah, the second half kind of solved the third down problem, got 4 turnovers, which obviously kills drives, and shut them out. I mean, shut them out in the second half. If I'd have known that with the 3-point lead at halftime, it'd been a lot easier on me, you know, but you just never know, do you?
All right, and when we come back, we'll talk about North Carolina State, the Canes of the Wolfpack. We'll do that as we continue right here on The Mark Richt Show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mark Richt Show as we continue on, presented by Williamson Automotive. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. And this week, the Hurricanes on the road, Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina, to take on the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Coach, you've been there many times, but this challenging team, this North Carolina State squad, coming off a good win. Very
dangerous team, outstanding. You know, I watch mostly defense, okay? Very big up front, very physical. A veteran football team. I don't think they have a freshman playing any snaps. Well, as a starter anyway. So we definitely got our work cut out for us. That stadium, it gets wild. You know, they're a, I wouldn't say a rough crowd, but they're a tough crowd. You know, and so they're going to bring a lot of emotion, and they're going to bring a lot of noise, and we got to be able to handle that, and we got to have another game where we're somebody's last home game of the year, and it's going to be senior night again, or senior day for them, and that is a meaningful time for the, when you think about it, it's the last game that senior's going to play on that field. That means a lot to him, that game. Mm-hmm. And then the teammates know that too, and they want to play hard for their senior buddies, and so that you got to fight that. So we got a lot to battle, but I think we're in a good frame of mind right now, and we've been staying the course throughout the whole season. So I'm confident we'll be ready for it anyway.
North Carolina State's defense is giving up about 99 yards a game on the ground, but you've given them an extra guy to prepare for in Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards.
Right. I thought you were going to say Brad Kaya.
He's moving around a little bit.
He is.
But Gus was lowering the boom
the Gus bus got going a little bit.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, Gus has earned the right to play, and he's taken advantage of his moments, and he'll play more. He's doing a wonderful job.
When you look at, when you're scouting them, they had Florida State beat until 3 minutes left in the ball game, and the other thing that I noticed about them is just they are physically impressive on defense. As impressive as anybody's Miami played this year.
Yeah, they really are. They're very stout, and gosh, didn't they take Clemson to overtime?
Yes, they did.
And missed the chip shot field goal that would have won the game.
To win the game.
Yeah.
Correct.
So they take Florida State to the last series just about, and overtime with Clemson. They beat Notre Dame, and they're 5-5. They're super hungry for a bowl victory, and they know they got to get it done. In the last two games, and I guess North Carolina might be their last game of the year. Mm-hmm. Kind of an in-state rival there too, so they know they got to find a way to win one of these two, and so they got their sights set on whipping us.
They too want to run the football. They have a running back who is from South Florida. Matthew Days played up at Cypress Bay High School out in Weston. So he probably have a chip on his shoulder as well.
I would think.
And he's run for 100 yards in just about every game.
Yeah, he's outstanding. I think he has 7 100-yard games this year, and they like to line it up and hook it up and be physical. That's how they play both sides of the ball. And those kind of teams, try to impose their will on you, and if they get it going, they're hard to stop. So we got to, like we've been saying all along, we got to start fast. We've had some games where we haven't started fast. Even this last one, my gosh, it's about as slow of a start as you can get. But thankfully we got it going. The next time we got the ball on offense and tied it up. But they're going to look to take control of the game and get their crowd going and not relent on us. And we got to find a way to quiet the crowd down a little bit and get the momentum in our favor.
Coach, weather-wise, you've had a break. I mean, you've really had some great days on the road. When you think about it, it looks like it'll be that way again. But let's go to Miami as a whole. How would you say the conditioning is, and you talked about it briefly, and the nutrition, what it's done for you to keep you at this level at this time? There's really been no dive or sinking.
There hasn't been. Sometimes the team in the middle of the year, just kind of fades away, and even we talk about freshmen, sometimes just kind of hit the wall, and I really hadn't seen it. I think there's been individuals at different moments that have had a little lull in there, but not as a team. And again, Gus Felder, strength staff, Kyle Bellamy, nutritionist, and his staff have done a wonderful job. And then, I think we've tried to be wise as coaches, not to just pound the life out of them in practice. There's a mix of practicing in such a way that you'll be prepared. But if you go too hard and too physical sometimes, then you have the attrition, and we just don't have the depth to hook it up as much as I'd like to in practice, to be honest with you. We pick our shots, and when we go, but we don't really hook it up, offense versus defense, quite as much as I would like to. But that's just where we're at as far as our depth is concerned.
2 games to go. There's some light at the end of the tunnel here. We're already down to 2 games, and
can you believe it?
No, and your team's gaining a lot of momentum right now.
We are. I mean, we have been a team of streaks, 4 in a row, and now we're hoping to go 4 in a row in the regular season and see what can happen in the bowl now that we know we're going to get one.
All right, Coach, thank you very much, and the best of luck against North Carolina State. And when we come back, Don and I will take a closer look at the Wolfpack as we continue on the Mark Richt Show right after this. Welcome back to the Mark Richt Show, everyone. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. Our show presented by Williamson Automotive. This week it's Miami and North Carolina State from Carter Finley Stadium, a 12:30 kickoff from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is going to be a big challenge for the Hurricanes as they go up against a very good defensive line. Let's talk about Miami running the football first with Mark Walton.
Well, I think they're going to have to run the football, Joe, because the way that North Carolina State plays defense, they're going to challenge you to the point where they don't think you can run the football. They're one of the best teams in the country, not just in the conference. They're holding their opponents to under 100 yards per game rushing. So that you've got to make sure that you can penetrate that front four as best you can. More importantly, that's going to set up the play action because you need to be able to throw the football at some point against North Carolina State's defense, and you've got to soften them with the run.
All right, well, Bradley Chubb leads them in sacks, 8 sacks, 18 tackles for losses. Miami will have to keep an eye on him. But the Hurricanes' offensive line did play well last week and gave Brad Kayak a good amount of time to throw. He'll need that against North Carolina State.
You know, Joe, this is going back now really 10 weeks in my opinion. The second half against Notre Dame, all of Pitt, and then of course all of Virginia last week. So if Miami can continue, even though they've had to change up the starting lineup from Pittsburgh to the Virginia game, they've still got to protect Brad Kayak. Brad looks like a totally different player, especially the last 2 ball games. If he has time, he can work the corners of North Carolina State. And then, of course, you've got the receiving core. Richards for the University of Miami has just been phenomenal the last couple of weeks.
The state defense, very experienced, 9 juniors, 2 seniors on their defense. So Miami has to take care of the football, and they will they're not going to be able to trick North Carolina State. They're going to have to really execute in this game. On the other side of the ball, North Carolina State wants to spread Miami out. They have Matthew Days at running back. He's from Cypress Bay High School. It all revolves around him.
It certainly does. They want to. Their approach is to make sure they get the ball to their receivers and throw completions. That's the most important thing. They're not going to take a lot of risk, and they understand that they don't have that speed on the outside that they probably would like at this time. But you mentioned the running game of North Carolina State. That's what it's built around. They're going to be very similar in their effect, too, where they want to make sure that they can pound the football. And, you know, you look at what Miami did to James Connors 2 weeks ago, held him to 40 yards. That gives you a lot of confidence of what Miami is capable of doing going in against North Carolina State.
Big game for the Kings. They're trying to make it a November to remember. They've won 2 in a row, trying to make it 3 straight now. For Don Bailey Jr. and University of Miami head coach Mark Richt, I'm Joe Zagacki. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on the Mark Richt Show.